definitely is an inward journey. It's not plot. You know, plot is about action and motion. But inner journey is about reaction and emotion. And yet there are so many voices out there that are also in people's heads because they've been hearing for years, you're not talented, you're no good, it's too hard, what are you thinking? And they have to get a new belief in themselves. And if they can get a new thought or a new belief, they can create a new world. So if someone pushes you down, say, thank you, I will rise. You're not going to hold me down. And so they make you stronger if you allow it. But if you believe them, then that's your fault. And the power is not Michael Bay movies with explosions and sexy girls. The power is in telling the truth, however it comes out. What I'm trying to do is get people to not listen to those negative voices, because that doesn't serve you. What serves you is a belief in yourself, trying something, seeing what worked, what didn't, and then going back and doing it again, and again, and again, and never quitting.
The man behind such cult TV shows as Quantum Leap and The X-Files has now come to Moscow. Paul Brown says he's here to help us not only to open our minds, but also hearts. The amount of work that American producer is doing here is astonishing, although he himself admits he's not here on a mission, but just because there's still a room to grow.
This is not your first time in Moscow, right?
No, it's my 7th time.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about the workshops here?
Okay, so we have a number of workshops. One workshop is a producer's workshop. So in that workshop is a lot of people who are professionals that are in their 20s and 30s, some in their 40s, who have come to enhance their knowledge about how to produce movies and television shows. So we have a producing teacher, we have a directing teacher, and we have a writing teacher. And so my job is to hear their stories, get them to connect to something that people will care about, and then help them develop their pitch. So they write a story, and then they eventually get up and they start pitching it. Because in the business, a big part of your job as a producer or a writer is to talk to somebody and get them excited about your story and get them to want to read it. So that's one aspect. Then I also have a screenwriting workshop, and I meet with people every night, and I help them with their screenplays or the TV movies or TV shows. So it's writers, directors, producers, and actors. And the last thing I do is I do a thing called a play in a day, where we have people come in, actors, writers, directors, producers, come in the morning, and I talk about the structure for a great one-act play or a great scene. And they have 4 hours to write. They just start writing. So the room becomes absolute silence, and you watch all these people writing on the computers by hand, and then actors come in, and they hand out the script to the actors, and then they work with the actors, and that evening we have a play. We show all these different plays. So for me, what's been exciting is I've had people come in that didn't know they could write or didn't know they could act. And that evening, when the play is performed, we've seen phenomenal work. And these people leave the room going, oh my God, I didn't know I could write, or I didn't know I could act. So that to me is very exciting, to watch people flourish.
So why Russia? Why did you come here? What attracts you here?
Yeah, getting back to Moscow, I think this is an amazing world, and there's so much mythology that we have been told about Moscow.
Right.
And I love coming here because it is the opposite of years and years of what I was told, the story I was told.
Exactly.
And so that's fantastic. I love when I'm surprised by people. And I can say that in the environment I'm in, people are funny and wonderful and crazy and everything,
So
right?
what are the biggest and significant difference between Russian and American students for you?
I think the Russian students that I encounter are more educated. They have a higher degree of education. Now, that could be something that they did because they wanted their parents' love.
Right.
Or they were told that this is what you have to do, and they got a degree in business or MBA or a master's degree in oil and gas or economics, and then they realized that didn't feed their soul. So these are unique individuals who said, I want a different life. I want a new story. And so that they've come seeking something new. Whereas in LA or New York, students oftentimes know really early on. They don't have as many voices trying to stop them. So their education starts at New York Film Academy.
Right.
And they can get an amazing education starting at 9 in the morning, going until 10 o'clock. They work extremely hard. So when people come to LA thinking they're going to go surfing every morning, no. If you're an actor or actress, you're getting up, you're rehearsing, and you're doing all these classes. So they do get a great education, but they don't come in oftentimes with the same level. Because again, there's a belief in America that you can do anything.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's true, but there's less blocks, right?
Almost, yeah.
Now, just because you can do it doesn't mean you're going to be good at it.
You're bringing this therapy into our system, and I think it's a little bit foreign to our mind and mentality. Do you think you can cure us through this kind of therapy?
Well, please understand, I'm not trying to cure anybody.
Yeah, but still, you're inserting the system into our...
I'm saying I'm trying to let people know that
Right.
they already have amazing stories inside of them, and they may not know it. So I'm a mirror, and I start asking questions. And in the course of asking questions, they start telling me about themselves. And then there's this epiphany a lot of them have, where they have this story that they never thought was interesting. And then someone says, in the class will be like, wow, that's amazing. And they'll look at you like, what?
You are a producer, actor, director, script writer.
Right.
In Russia, we're told to do only one thing.
That's a mistake.
Tell me a little bit about this, because...
Well, that's a story. That's a story saying you should only do one thing,
Yeah.
right? What if you're, for example, my sister went to one of the most prestigious acting schools in America,
Right.
and she came to LA, but guess what? She was a very talented writer. So she started writing. There's a very famous comedian named Lily Tomlin.
Okay.
You might not know her, but
No.
she saw my sister perform at a nightclub,
Wow.
and she said, I want to give you a job. My sister ended up getting cast after that in a huge Clint Eastwood movie. She played the love interest.
Okay.
She's 22 years old, right? This is years ago.
Yeah.
Suddenly, because she could write, that led to directing, producing, and the recording artist. She does everything. And so why should someone else's belief, if you imagine some professor who told her you shouldn't do anything more, well, that person's a jerk. What right does a professor have to tell a young woman, just be an actress? That man is a jerk. He has no right to tell her what she can or cannot do. Shame on him. Shame on that person.
But again, they're thinking that this is the quality, but not the quantity of, all the set of profession that you're gonna...
I know people that, actresses that said, I'm not going to wait around like a child and wait for someone to pick me. I'm an adult. I'm an artist. I have something to say. And no man, no woman, no professor is going to stop me. Get out of my way. You're from the past. You represent an old idea that doesn't serve me because I'm an artist and I'm going to move forward. I have something that's valuable.
Okay.
So shame on the person that tells somebody they can't be more than what they are. So it's really, for me, exciting to watch people who come in with an idea that's like a ghost story or a zombie movie. And I said, tell me about your family. Where'd you grow up? What was your family like? Who do you hate? Who do you love? And in the course of that, these amazing things come out. Now, you can always take the core of that idea, and then you can clothe it with a zombie story, right? I wouldn't recommend that, but you can find amazing things.
So that's funny because, you're known for script writing for such cult series as X-Files and Quantum Leap,
Right.
and it's, more mystical and,
I was young. I didn't know better.
Of course, Mr. Brown is exaggerating. The X-Files, for example, have been on the screen for almost 10 years, and all the success due to the crew of producers and scriptwriters that have been working with Paul.
In Russia, for example, there's a lack of producers and there's a lack of financing. So what should a young, talented person do to develop his idea, his unique idea, when he doesn't have money at all?
Okay, in America, what people do
Yeah.
is they have these cameras, and they find good actors, okay? And they write a script, and they make a small short film, and they do it again. And do it again. People start seeing the work they're doing. And it makes them laugh or makes them feel something. And then someone comes forward and says, listen, I can get $10,000. All right? Let's get these actors and let's make a film. Did you ever see the movie Once?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Once was made for $100,000.
Really?
Yes. And those people won the Academy Award.
I've seen the Broadway show, though.
Okay, so you had a man and a woman, right?
Yeah.
Who had talent,
Yeah.
who didn't let anyone tell them what they could or couldn't do, right? And they went out and made a movie for $100,000, and they won the Academy Award. So look at that. Don't look at people who tell you what they can and cannot do, because that becomes an excuse. If you believe that, it's true, right? You believe that you have to mold your project, you have to shape it to please somebody. Once again, the paradigm is your child and their dad, and they have a wallet, and they'll determine what you can or cannot do. I say, you don't need dad, you don't need mom, you need yourself. And other artists who can help each other create something. And that's the answer.
So about New York Film Academy, I myself, as a graduate of NYFA,
Right.
I had only one Russian person in the class besides me.
Right.
So the amount of this work that you do to promote the school and all these workshops and lectures here, why doesn't it pay off still?
If I were Russian, and if I were from Moscow, I would not go to New York. But then I know a lot of, for example, one of my translators is in New York right now having the time of his life. He loves it.
Exactly.
So that's actually not true, because I think some people that are from Moscow love that weather, and they love New York. And it's a dream to be in New York City.
But I mean, even in the summertime, you know, in the workshops for this like
Right.
short period of time, they still are not attracted as much as they could have.
Well, I would say if you went to the school during the regular year, you'd probably meet a lot more Russian students.
Okay.
And I know that when I'm in LA, I'm passing Russian students in the hallway.
Okay. So can you call it an American mission that you brought here to Moscow to help us?
Well, I wouldn't want to make it sound that grandiose. My job is to help people have faith in their ideas. And so they'll come and pitch 3 ideas, and I'll say to them, it's just my opinion. I don't look up to me as a guru or someone who knows everything, because I change my mind the next day. But of the 3 ideas I heard, that one to me sounds like it's powerful. And not just based on, is it going to sell in the marketplace, but is there an inner story? It's not like a great plot, but is there some great inner transformation for the main character? And will people watching that story, will it evoke deep emotion within them? And will they become mesmerized by your story? Because a great story, when you're watching it, you're not watching someone else's story, you're watching your own story.
Right.
Your desire to learn to feel again, or to open up your heart to love, or to stop being so judgmental,
Right.
learning forgiveness. And so great stories have this unifying effect. And when you're in a theater, whether it's a play or a movie, and the writing is great and the actors are connected, it is an electrifying experience.